Many years ago, in fact it was in the late 1970s, I taught at Blue Valley High School. And at that time, Blue Valley High School was the only high school in the district. Its actual address is 6001 West 159th Street. And when I went there, the schools had just been combined. There was a Stanley and there was a Stillwell, and it was combined into Blue Valley High School. And I want to, in case you don't know where that is, because it's very important in the speech, I gave you my one and only handout, and that's this map right here. And maybe some of you are from the Blue Valley area and you know exactly what I'm talking about, and some of you do not. But if you look at this map, and if you go to the far right, and then you go in and you see a long blue line going down, and that's Highway 69. So if you would go from Metcalf South and just keep going on Metcalf, it turns into Highway 69. And if you get to 151st Street and 69, that's the Stanley area. And Stanley and Morris are right there. Morris is just about three miles west of there. And that's one community. If you keep going down 69, you get to 199th Street, and you find the other community, and it's Stillwell and Aubrey. And those are the areas that were combined to make this high school. I taught American history, and I always was intrigued that if I taught American history and worked in family history, it might be more meaningful to the students. So I decided to do that one semester. And so I got very excited and told the students what a wonderful project we were going to have, and they were going to do their genealogy. And I gave them the basics. I gave them a chart, and the chart just had, you put your name right in the middle, and above it you put all your father's information, and below you put all your mother's information. And you go as far back as you can. And I suggested maybe you want to talk to your parents about this, because they might be able to help you. So they did. And then what we would do on Fridays, that was project day. And we would sit down and we would talk about what they found out. And what I was trying to do and did, accidentally, but really on purpose, was have them connect their family history with what we were studying. So some of them could go all the way back to the American Revolution, and my goodness, this is what we're talking about. And then when we got to the part of the Great Immigration in the 1850s, and a lot of the Irish came over, my goodness, that was some of their descendants. So we were connecting those two together. And on Friday when we would meet, we would sit around and talk about it. And I would say, in case you want to go even further than talking to your relatives, there's a lot of sources out there. And one of the best is the National Archive. Now this is before the computer age, so everything had to be done manually. And the National Archives, which is in Kansas City, Missouri, has incredible records. They have ship passenger records, so you could find out when your family came over. They have military records. They have naturalization records. But the one record they have that is so incredibly helpful is census records. Every 10 years, we of course take a census. If you ever look at those records, they give a mountain of information. You know, who was living where, who was in the family, where they came from, what property they own. And it just, you know, ripple effects. And so we talked a lot about that. One Friday morning, Nancy, one of the bright lights of the class, walks in and she is just so excited. She says, "Mrs. Tebby, you don't believe what I found." And so we were sitting around the circle. I said, "All right, share your wonderful news with us." And I wasn't sure what it was. Nancy's grandmother's grandmother was one of the original founders of Stanley. And she had a journal of the 6-week trip from Ohio to Kansas City. Now I knew that she was one of the original founders. It was the McCoy family the Look family and the Dugan family because I'd done enough census record of the area myself. And I was just so excited. Now, if you look at, pardon my back, if you look at the back page here and just go down, it gives you some summary there. But if you just go down to Nancy, the family history, and it says Nancy's great-great-grandmother, Maggie. That was the name of the woman, Maggie McCoy. Okay. Now just think of this. Nancy is talking to her grandmother. Most of us knew our grandmothers, and most of you still know your grandmothers. And her grandmother remembered her grandmother, who was one of the original founders. Incredible information. And she was sharing that with us. I knew in a split second that we had more on our hands than I ever imagined. And I knew this had to be written down and become a booklet. We weren't going to just share it with ourselves, but we were going to give this gift to the community. So that's what we did second semester. We not only did family history, but we also did community history. And I let the students, there were about 25 of them, divide themselves into groups: American history, Native American history, Civil War, and interviewing. And then we sent them out to gather this information. It was amazing what they came up with. And we compiled it together. I said, you're the workhorse, I'm the person sitting behind there that's gathering it all together. We put it all together, and we came up with this booklet of the settlement of the Stanley area. Okay? And they were so proud of this. And then what we did, we just did that the second semester. The next year we did the same thing, the family history, and then we did the other one, which was the community of Aubrey-Stillwell. I can't tell you how proud these students were that they gave these gifts to the community. This is not a New York Times bestseller, either one of these, but I can't tell you how, even talking about it now, is so emotional and rewarding to me. Thank you.